Okay, Michael, this is the transmission out of your MDX, and what's actually happened to it, we've had some bearing failure. This is what happened. The two bearings that support this shaft have failed. The one that goes in the rear of this shaft right here goes inside this gear, and it is just wore out is what it is. It was making noise. It's actually a double row ball bearing is what it is, and it's just wore out. And then on the front of this same shaft, there's a bearing that rides right there. Luckily it didn't tear up this shaft, but it's down in the front of this case half, and both of those bearings support this shaft. And I don't know if this camera will pick it up, but it is cut into, you can see that, it's cut into that aluminum is what it's done. These rings actually feed the clutches oil is what they do. They're Teflon sealing rings, and the ring is let the shaft fall down and just cut grooves in there to where the rings can't seal anymore, and that's going to have to be replaced. And that metal has basically been distributed throughout the transmission, and although the clutches are not burned up, what's actually happened, that real fine metal gets embedded into the clutch lining, and it's just a matter of time before the clutches go. Honda has real soft clutch plates for a nice smooth feel. We use Raybesta's GPX clutches, which last twice as long, and they give a real good shift feel. So we're going to have to replace all these clutches. They're a new improved clutch plate. But what it's going to take to fix this and fix this right, Michael, is a complete rebuild and replace all the bearings. Something else that hasn't failed yet, but it's about to, and that's the sprag assembly. This is low gear and a sprag assembly. So anyway, attached to this is going to be a written estimate for all parts and labor for a complete rebuild. We're also going to have to replace this torque converter, which is between the transmission and engine and takes the place of a clutch if you had a stick shift. It shares the same oil as the transmission, and that metal's gotten in there and contaminated that as well. This will have a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty on it. What we're also going to have to do is flush the transmission cooler system. Acura recommends replacing it, but we found if we flush it with our hot flush, it saves us quite a bit of money. And I'll show you how we do that in just a second. But anyway, take a look at the estimate. It's attached as a PDF. You could either reply to this email or you could give Rodney a call. Either way. But we do appreciate your business. Thanks. This is our hot flush machine, and this is not hooked up to your vehicle, but it will be. This is just explaining how it works. These red and blue hoses are hooked up to the transmission's cooler system in the vehicle, and it's also hooked up to shop air through this blue hose. It runs heated transmission fluid. It gets up to about 190 degrees. It's up to 179. And it also measures volume. This one's running about 2 gallons a minute now. And what it does, it pulses heated fluid through here for about 3 seconds and then blasts compressed air backwards for half a second. And that's the pulsing that you see and hear. And that gets it really, really clean. It's running about 50 psi. And this is a state-of-the-art flusher. It just doesn't get any better than that. And that's the hot flush. Thanks.